Left-wing mob shutting down free speech again. Over 100 people, including members of Antifa, hurling eggs, smashing windows, and trying to disrupt a Charlie Kirk event at UC Davis. So, how can you be mad at Charlie Kirk? The violence leading to 2 arrests and 1 police officer was injured. The young conservative leader telling Primetime how it all went down.
The core issue is that these college campuses, we know that they become radical. We know that they're no longer places of free speech. But a speaker on an American college campus, if you want to come and talk about free speech and American values, it should not be a danger to fellow students or to the speaker. Over 100 police officers were there last night. That mob was there to try to do violence.
The war on free speech is having a chilling effect on education. Listen to what this former professor had to say about it.
It doesn't really matter if you're in the tribe or not. If you say something wrong, that's enough to get you essentially ostracized and kicked out. And so I think everybody walks on eggshells. We're literally moving away from the foundations of academia.
Did this happen when you were in college?
I was trying to think about that today because this guy, that professor, he'll be on America's Newsroom tomorrow. He's a science teacher. So he feels so much that he had to self-censor that he would rather leave a job that he loves and pursue something else because he doesn't want to have to be a part of that anymore. And I was thinking back to the professors that I had. There was this one, oh gosh, what was her name? Paula something, I can picture her, but she taught political science. And I never knew what her politics were, but she would stir the pot and get everybody going. And it was so invigorating and so fun. And so no, I don't recall, and especially I was in Southern Colorado.
Was it a cooking class?
Political science?
Oh, you said she was stirring the pot.
Yeah, that's a little phrase.
Paula Dean. She was the professor.
Paula, there you go.
Paula Dean. No, what was her name? Paula something.
Well, when you think about it, just let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Thank you.
Or we can just wait here and wait.
I'm done talking.
Greg, while she thinks about the professor that she doesn't remember, what would you like to say?
I had an interesting epiphany last night when I was thinking about this story because we did it on my show. The students are bad, but the teachers are worse because where do the students get this stuff from? They get it from their teachers. So you have adults that are advocating for a behavior that adults with tenure can endure. But students, kids, they can't succeed on this behavior, right? It's like when you look at successful, well-known celebrities who parade their pronouns on Twitter. It's deceptive because the only successful woke people were successful first. Right? So you have Lady Gaga with her pronouns, but she was Lady Gaga first. Students, however, think that, oh, these successful people buy into this woke stuff, so shall I. It doesn't work that way. It's like drugs. It's like you don't do drugs until you're successful or you never will be successful. And in this case, it's like if you get a resume with somebody with their pronouns on it, you're not gonna interview that person. But that person is just merely emulating something that they learn from adults who can endure such stupid behavior.
What if these people do become moderately successful, Harold, and then go on to become lawyers and start screwing around with the legal system and railroading conservatives, fine ones like myself?
Yeah.
I would agree. You're a good one. Here's the thing. Intellectual diversity. I remember when I was in college and law school and even high school, we came together to challenge our school to teach more American history and to teach more world history in a world history class we had at my high school in D.C. And they allowed us to come before the board at the school that made those decisions, the academic board, and we had a great back and forth. They challenged us, we challenged them, and over a period of time, they began to open up the curriculum in many ways. And it's enriched the school. We had it at Penn. We had these huge brawls. And we brought people, when I say brawls, intellectual brawls. Today they want to brawl physically. They want to brawl violently. If you can't entertain and sit and have a substantive and good debate with someone whom you disagree with, you're not going to be a good lawyer. You may not get into a good law school. And if you do, because I think the standards are changing everywhere, God forbid what's going to happen to the country if we don't understand that you can disagree with someone but like them a lot. You can think their argument does not measure up, but you can continue to have debates and conversations. The thing I worry most about is there are professors and those in the executives at these schools who are promoting this and coddling these kids. We've talked about this many times.
This is my point. It's because they profit after it, but the students don't. None of those students you would ever hire. They could never work on the 5 if they can't tolerate other opinions.
But here's the thing. We're balkanizing. They'll be able to find a job somewhere where that viewpoint is held, and we never, ever figure out a way to get together to say, look, you have an opinion, I have an opinion, let's debate about it. And just like you and I in the last segment, and when it comes to reparations, if you put together an education package and an economic opportunity package, you might be able to agree. We might be able to find a majority. To your point, that last segment, I'm still bothered by it because it's the most divisive thing you could do to try to solve a real problem. And this is a symptom of it, what we're seeing at these colleges. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Judge.
No, you were going. And that's exactly where I would start. It is divisive, and that's what the left has been doing. It started about, 7 years ago when, where was it? At Berkeley, when somebody went to speak there, Milo Yiannopoulos, whatever his name was, and they wanted to burn down the school. Nobody got arrested. They smashed windows. And ironically, it's the beginning of free speech and considered at Berkeley. But these people, you know, when you look at the corporations that gave money to Black Lives Matter, those corporations are being run by the kids who've gone through these schools. And we talked about this before. They have gone up the ladder. They are big deals in some of these corporate businesses. And so they are already there. The question is, are they there in the justice system? Not yet, but they're getting there. And the left is creating this division and this hate. Forget about, how can you possibly do that in a law school? The First Amendment is about free speech and freedom of press. Right now, people who are assaulting other people, alleging defamation on the part of Charlie Kirk, saying he hates trans, and I mean, that is just a lie. It's defamation. Nobody's doing anything about it except that they're apologizing. But what's happening now is that a lot of young students are recognizing that college is nothing but a lot of nonsense. And they are turning away from college and they're turning toward apprenticeships. And apparently, apprenticeships have increased by more than 50% in the United States since the pandemic. And there are now almost 1 million apprentices in the past few years. And colleges are suffering the worst, what am I looking for?
Brain drain?
Whatever, since the pandemic. So everything has changed. The young students know that they are purposely choosing apprenticeships over colleges. And so they're recalibrating. They don't want to be a part of this craziness. They want to be able to make money. Because when these people get out of college, they're not going to be able to make money anyway.
Does this make you think differently about marrying a black man in San Francisco?
Well, I'm not going to San Francisco under any circumstances, so yes.
And if you want to be Judge Janine's apprentice, contact us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.